Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at XRP, see what's going on. We got a nice pump up to about 220. I was able to help secure a little bit of profit here for our community since we kind of closed the majority of our trade a little early. We got still a good 14% out of that, but nice little 31% from Solana and 40 plus, what is it? 57% for Bitcoin. So it's been a good profitable week for us here. Nice longs there. I technically have a short position open with Bitcoin at 88K. We came so close to closing that trade in profit, but unfortunately price turned around and hasn't looked back yet. So we may have to make the adult decision to go ahead and close that trade. And that's generally how it works, folks. I need to kind of help you understand and normalize that closing trades is normal. Okay, closing them before they hit stop loss is also an okay thing once the trade invalidates too. And if we close above 90,000 for Bitcoin today, I think most alts are going to continue to do very well. Okay, now I'm expecting a slight pullback to the 88.5 to 90,000 range for Bitcoin just as a standard retracement. But once more, we've been very surprised here lately with how little Bitcoin moves concurrent with what the trends should be here. Okay, so all things aside, let's take a look at XRP and see what's going on. Do me a favor, folks, hit the like button before we get started here. Absolutely appreciate that, but also we get less than 5% likes based on the amount of views that we get here. So it's like really low. So you can do me a solid and just do that every single time. Really helps grow the channel, gets us in front of more people. So Moon Boys stop getting the views and stop destroying people's accounts. Now this is the one day that Moon Boys are probably right. So it kind of probably contradicts everything. But once more, they got to have their day in the sun every once in a while. Having said that, 215 to 216 right there, that local resistance range has been fully swept. We can see the price averaging itself out just above the previous high. It's really common for that to become the new low. So Bitcoin goes sideways, XRP should continue to excel higher based on that sentiment alone. Now, when it comes to liquidation, we can see 225 to 235 is effectively that upper range there. Distinct probability we continue towards that if Bitcoin doesn't retrace, or this is just like a pump and dump type of situation, which we've seen time and time again this year. So it's hard not to be a little gun shy when Bitcoin fakes us out like 15 out of 16 times so far this year. So this is a good breakout. Things are looking good. Volume is high. I think Bitcoin is sustainable at this point, but we don't want to get too crazy and go all in too soon. Okay. I'm hoping we see a bit of a retracement so we can kind of hit some of those local lows, retested as new supports or previous highs as new lows. And that's essentially what we're looking for. By the way, liquidation delta is quite high here, so this does imply you don't want to short against this coin. It makes no sense at all. Take longs in the market right now. It's tremendously more logical. If we look at support, we can see 210, 208, and 205 are the three areas of consideration for averaging in if we were to see that price point again. As mentioned previously, though, I think $2 is that heavy support range for us. We didn't get that pullback, but we did come up and bounce off our local point of control about 208. So it's pretty standard stuff here. We take a look at the daily. This is one of the few coins that still hasn't broken bullish. So even though I'm sure those watching this video are probably proponents for XRP and you're probably long-term holders, but from a technical standpoint, we're still under some significant areas. And let's talk about that just so you understand. We're under the under the 50-day SMA. We've been averaging ourselves out nicely above the 20. So for the most part, we're on the right side of tracks. We're just not totally broken bullish yet. However, we look at our point of control here locally. Ever since we've been in the low $2 range, we've seen the most amount of volume at 213. That's right where the price is right now. So we're literally right there at that point of control. So closing 215 or higher for a few days in a row this week, it's going to be super monumental to effectively put us above that. It'll also maintain above the moving average there eventually soon if we can kind of stay sideways or go higher. Those are all things we want to look for. But the daily time frame is barely breaking bullish. This is a very early sign. So if Bitcoin doesn't continue higher, it's best to presume that we're going to reject out here and go down. If we go down, it's not going to be a tremendous amount, by the way. It'll just be a few cents and likely to bounce off that $2 range. So hopefully my limit order in the low $2 range gets filled. If not, I'll be happy to add to my bags here soon if we can confirm bullish, a bullish breakout. This is a good sign so far, folks, but I wouldn't get too excited. We haven't broken free from our local high yet. Closing above 225 would be a pretty significant deal for us. And that's going to require Bitcoin to maintain the 90K range or higher. Okay. Bitcoin pulls back to 88.5 or just say 87, 85,000, then there's a solid chance that we're going to see the low $2 range retested. All that being said, everything else looks pretty bullish. 4-hour time frame looks nice. Majority of altcoins are going to have very strong 4-hour time frames based on the simple fact that we're seeing a significant amount of volume flowing in. Keep in mind, this amount of volume, while it is high, it's very low compared to previous timeframes. Okay, so the simple way to understand it here is that even though money flow index is above the RSI, we may see a cooling off period here soon. And if it were to do that, I think 210 to 212 would seem like a logical area of retracement. Hourly time frame should reflect a very similar structure here. Most altcoins are showing we have a nice confirming factors and that taking a short position is a very bad idea. Okay, so overall, I think we're looking pretty good. A local point of control is 208. If we do happen to retrace, 208 to 210 seems like the sensible place to consider a long. Between now and then, careful longing the top. We don't know if Bitcoin is going to pull back or not. Until it does or doesn't, we kind of probably want to sit on the sidelines and wait. But feel free to get some skin in the game. Average into your position if you want. I've been adding to my spot bag on this coin, so honestly, it's not a bad call to do that. But on the same chord, are we going to go higher or lower? A lot of it is based on Bitcoin right now. Okay, so that's where we're at there, folks. Hope it was beneficial for you. I'll go ahead and update the playout chart, post that on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you're not familiar. Looks a little something like this. And make sure that you are not following any imposters. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people impersonating me. I'll never direct message you first or try to solicit you. If you want information, my website is available for you. And if you want to consider registering, I would recommend you definitely scroll through my trade alerts so you can get perspective on the coins I'm planning to take trades with. Okay, I kind of explain all that here, and the majority of the coins we traded here recently, they're all in there. Okay, so just know it's available for you. Thanks again so much. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care out there. Bye-bye.